After learning I had won 100 red million in the lottery, my loving boyfriend of many years suddenly turned hostile, imprisoning me at home and leaving me to starve to death. He and my best friend stole my winning ticket, cashing it in for a massive sum. But soon the high-temperature apocalypse struck. Using my money, they hoarded vast supplies, living in carefree luxury, while I was left to bake to death under the scorching heat. When I opened my eyes again, time had rewound to the day after the win. As my boyfriend asked how much I'd won, I replied, 200. Living a second life. I'm going to build my own safe house. Let's see what happens to that despicable couple this time without my money and supplies. HZ, what did you just say? How much did you win in the lottery? The sudden words left me momentarily dazed, staring at Xiao Rui's puzzled expression before me. I suddenly snapped back to reality. I've been reborn. Reborn on the day before I told this ungrateful wretch about winning 100 million. In my past life, I won 100 million and excitedly shared the news with Xiao Rui, already dreaming of our bright future together. But I failed to see the murderous intent hidden in his eyes. After he took my bearer lottery ticket under the pretense of wanting to share in the joy, he broke my limbs and imprisoned me in the house. When my best friend appeared, I begged her to let me go and call the police for me. Yet she laughed mockingly and stepped on my broken leg, causing me unbearable pain. Yen, oh Yen, you really are foolish. But why is it that for so many years someone as foolish as you could always overshadow me? We both came from the orphanage, so why could you get into a prestigious university while I couldn't? Why can you land a good job and find a great boyfriend, and I have nothing? But so what? Now you still have to kneel at my feet and beg for mercy. That ferocious expression was one I had never seen before, utterly unfamiliar. Only then did I realize that my best friend and my boyfriend had been sneaking around behind my back all along. They're birds of a feather, both rotten to the core. After obtaining a large sum of money, they splurged extravagantly. And by a twist of fate, also hoarded a considerable amount of supplies. A week later, when the scorching apocalypse struck, they abandoned me on the rooftop, leaving me to die under the blazing sun. Yet, they lived in my house, enjoying my money carefree. Shinchen, why aren't you saying anything? Did you win a 100 million? Shaoyi said jokingly, but a glint of shrewdness flashed in his eyes. Yet, I saw this scene clearly, and I sneered inwardly. How foolish I had been in my past life to fail to notice something so obvious. If only I'd really won 100 red million. But it was just 200 yuan, I said nonchalantly. Sure enough. Disappointment flickered across Xiao Rui's face. But he still pretended to be doing as he patted my head. Shinchen is really amazing. She actually won 200 yuan. I've never won anything before. I suppressed the urge to recoil from his hand and suddenly moved a bit further away from him. Xiao Rui and I are colleagues at the same company. After work, without any hesitation, I went straight home to pack my things. I can't stay here anymore. The mountain city was already extremely hot. And after the high-temperature apocalypse, it became the first to erupt like a furnace. I decided to head to the northern town first. After cashing in the lottery ticket, I bought the earliest flight ticket to the northern town. As for work, screw it. The apocalypse is coming. Who cares about work anymore? The northern town is renowned as a tourist city, so it also boasts high-end residential areas. The security measures are quite thorough and most importantly, each villa stands independently with considerable distance between them. Even if something were to happen, no one would notice. I directly purchased a villa near the mountain top. Although this is the north, there are snow-capped mountains nearby. In case a high-temperature apocalypse triggers snow melt, the villas at the foot of the mountain might not be safe. I had the property management hire the most advanced construction company to handle everything according to bulletproof standards. The most important thing is to build 2 basement levels and the insulation materials must be of the highest quality with completion required within 3 days. The property management expressed great confusion. I smiled and simply said I was a new media professional preparing to film a test video. The property clerk even enthusiastically insisted on promoting their beautiful tourist city. I added an extra third to the labor cost to ensure they could finish within 3 days. I'll leave the renovation to the construction company and start preparing to stockpile supplies. First, I bought a large pickup truck to facilitate transportation, then began my shopping spree. Food goes without saying, but there's no need to stockpile too much fresh meat and vegetables. After all, even with refrigerators, they can't be preserved for very long under extreme heat conditions. Moreover, the extreme heat apocalypse lasted less than 4 days before widespread power outages occurred, rendering even refrigerators and air conditioners useless. So, I mainly chose convenience foods, various instant noodles, self-heating rice, self-heating hot pots, compressed biscuits, bottled water, and canned goods. I bought them in bulk. Pile after pile, the wholesale market owner thought I was a manager from some newly opened supermarket coming to stock up. Smiling, he handed me his business card, saying that if I needed such large quantities again, it should definitely come to his store. I smiled without saying anything. I didn't haul everything home all at once, but instead found a warehouse, slowly transporting the supplies home while keeping track of them. Although the villa is relatively secluded, there's no guarantee that someone might notice I've stockpiled a large amount of supplies. In times of apocalypse, human nature is unpredictable. Always assume the worst of human nature. I also purchase large-capacity water storage containers and water filtration devices. And I bought enough bottled mineral water to fill half a warehouse. In an apocalypse, water is the most crucial resource. A person can survive for 7 days without food, but only 3 days without water. I also bought a small cartload of personal care products. After all, women have those few days every month, which can be quite troublesome. It took me 2 days to move all these supplies into my basement. Looking at the fully packed basement, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Only a basement stocked with ample supplies can give me a sense of security. There's only 1 day left until the scorching apocalypse. I frantically checked to see if there was anything I hadn't prepared thoroughly enough. While looking at the potted plants in my room, I suddenly remembered that I could also stock up on some soil and seeds. I hurriedly hauled 2 truckloads of soil and transported them into the empty room on the 2nd floor. Just as I was busy, my phone rang. I answered the call without even checking the caller ID. On the other end of the line came Xiao Rui's furious voice. "Yen, what on earth are you doing? Where have you been all these days? Why aren't you answering your phone, not at home, and not even coming to work?" Hearing this voice, I felt a bit dagged. To be honest, I've been busy reinforcing my little nest all this time and had long since pushed this man to the back of my mind. What's the matter? My tone was indifferent. While on his end, he grew even more frantic. "What's wrong with you? You haven't come to work these past few days. Do you still want your perfect attendance bonus or not? I went to your place looking for you and even the neighbors said you haven't been home for days. Where the hell have you been wandering around? Couldn't you have at least called me? Do you really think I wouldn't be worried?" Hearing Xiao Rui's tone, I couldn't help but find it somewhat amusing. "I resigned a long time ago. Didn't you know?" There was a brief silence on the other end. As if he hadn't expected me to say that before his voice grew even more shrill. "Resign." His voice was as shrill as a duck's quack, making me extremely uncomfortable, and I instinctively held the phone farther from my ear. Do you have any idea how hard it is to find a job these days, especially at a foreign company like this? You're just an undergraduate. What kind of good job can you even get? Stop being ridiculous. I'll talk to the manager and plead your case. You can still come back to work. Otherwise, after we get married, are you expecting me to support the family alone? Why don't you just work me to death already at this point? His voice paused for a moment, his expression one of deep anguish. "Yen, you've truly disappointed me. I originally thought we could build a happy family together, but now your actions have made me reconsider." His tone carried a hint of threat, as if waiting for me to back down. I chuckled softly before speaking. "Oh, then let's break up." A deathly silence fell on the other end, followed by his furious outburst of curses. Hen, what the hell do you think you're doing? How can you just casually mention breaking up? Have you found some other man outside? No wonder you haven't been coming home these days, so you've been fooling around with some other man outside. I was completely wrong about you. I didn't want to listen to this man's endless rambling anymore. So, I hung up the phone directly and blocked him. Just kidding. I still have so many things to organize here. No time to waste with him. While I was taking inventory of medical supplies and thermal protective clothing, my phone rang again. I picked it up and saw that it was Chin Su calling me. I immediately found it amusing. Indeed, trashy men and shameless women always come as a pair. I answered the phone, but before I could even speak, Chin Su on the other end couldn't wait to start talking. Hello, Shin. Where are you now? I heard you quit your job. What's going on? Did something upset you? Did you have a fight with Xiao Rui? She bombarded me with a flurry of questions. Weren't you two getting along quite well? Didn't you say before that you were about to get married? How come you suddenly broke up now? Xiao Rui is really upset. He called me directly upset. A mocking smile curled at the corner of my lips. If you were truly upset, how could Chin Su have called me in such a hurry? I bet the two of them are together right now. I was about to hang up the phone directly, but suddenly I remembered the miserable fate I suffered in my previous life. My hand involuntarily tightened around the phone. A surge of resentment rising in my heart. Why? Why did I have to die so tragically in my past life in this lifetime? They don't have to pay any price. The fury in my heart grew increasingly intense. And suddenly, I had a brilliant idea. Don't those two love to sneak around together? Then I'll provide them with a place to do just that. Let's see how long their so-called true feelings can last in this apocalypse. Nothing much, just some irreconcilable differences. So, we decided to break up. My tone was indifferent, leaving Chin Su across from me completely baffled. How did things suddenly turn sour between you two? Weren't you about to get married before? Did he do something to hurt you? Chin Su probed cautiously. I knew she was trying to gauge whether I was aware of what had happened between the two of them, maybe, but it's none of my business anymore. I deliberately put on a look of utter dejection. After a long silence from the other side, I faintly heard the two of them speaking. But their voices were so soft that I couldn't make out what they were saying. By the way, don't you have the key to my place? I probably won't be going back there anymore. I've left everything for you, and there's even a gift. I paused for a moment before adding, didn't you really like that little Chanel bag before? I bought it but forgot to give it to you. It's in my bedroom. Don't forget to take it. I knew Chin Su was extremely greedy for money the moment I mentioned such luxury items. She would definitely go for it. And not only will I go, but I'll also take Xiao Rui with me. I had already installed surveillance cameras in my house long ago. The scorching apocalypse will arrive tomorrow, allowing me to observe the fate of that despicable couple up close. Sure enough, upon hearing me say this, Chin Su's tone immediately became noticeably more cheerful. Really? Oh my, this is so embarrassing. Chanel bags are so expensive. There was a hint of laughter in my tone, but it didn't reach my eyes. It's fine. After all, we've been best friends for so many years. I deliberately emphasized the words best friends, but she was too immersed in the happiness of owning a designer bag to notice. All right, since you insist on giving it to me, I'll reluctantly accept it. I'll go get it right away. Chin Su excitedly hung up the phone, forgetting to question why I wasn't coming home. I let out a cold laugh, tossed my phone aside, and after thoroughly checking all the supplies, finally felt a slight sense of relief. There were less than 10 hours left before the high-temperature apocalypse. These 10 hours are probably my final revelry. I checked the entire villa once again, and only after confirming that all the glass edges were sealed with thermal insulation adhesive did I finally breathe a slight sigh of relief. However, I didn't stop during these last 10 hours either. I hauled all the previously transported soil to the empty room on the second floor, planted some seeds, and then casually prepared some food before taking out my tablet to check the cameras in the apartment. That's when I realized Qin Su and Xiao Rui had already gone over there long ago. Qin Su turned my room upside down, but still couldn't find what she was looking for. That damn Yun clearly said the bag was in the room. Why can't I find it? Xiao Rui, meanwhile, wrapped his arms around her from behind and with a mischievous grin, pinned her down onto the bed. Since we can't find the bag, let's do something more meaningful instead. You're really annoying. Qin Su coquettishly pounded Xiao Rui's chest with her fist. What happened next made me roll my eyes in exasperation, and I immediately closed the video. How unlucky. The first thing I see when I open the video is something so disgusting. It's ruining my appetite for dinner. But let them make their fuss. Their raillery won't last much longer anyway. I set the air conditioner to 22 degrees Celsius, ready for a good night's sleep. Yet the next morning, I was rudely awakened by the sweltering heat. I set my air conditioner to run for 5 hours. But by 5 o'clock in the morning, I was already drenched in sweat. I opened a small gap in the curtains and peeked at the sun outside. It was only 5 o'clock in the morning, yet the sun was already scorching, and the thermometer had soared to 30 degrees. It's hard to believe this was the temperature at 5 o'clock in the morning. Looking at this familiar, dazzling, somewhat whitish sun, I knew the scorching apocalypse had arrived. The National Meteorological Observatory issued a high-temperature warning and urged everyone to stay indoors as much as possible while taking precautions against heat stroke. Even the property management in our residential complex thoughtfully reminded everyone in the group chat to avoid going out for the time being, offering to deliver any necessities to our doors if needed. I noticed many people ordering large quantities of water and fresh groceries. So, I followed suit and placed an order myself. After all, not ordering anything might raise suspicions. At 9 o'clock a.m., all the items from our haul were delivered. I watched the delivery guy holding a sun umbrella. Yet, sweat kept dripping down, his face already sunburnt. They helped me carry the things into the house, and the sight of them made me feel genuinely sorry. It's been too hot these days. You should stock up on water and supplies and try not to go out if possible. I suddenly reminded them, I'm no saint either, and naturally understand how unpredictable human nature can be in the apocalypse. The property guys smiled at me, indicating they got it, then quickly drove off to deliver to the next house. I glanced outside at the sunlight, scorching and blinding. Keep in mind, the city I'm in is known as the Spring City with mild temperatures year-round and little variation. Yet today, it soared to 38 degrees. The mountain city is different. I checked the weather forecast and the temperature has already soared to 46 degrees. In just a single day, the temperature has risen. So rapidly that it's downright terrifying. But I know this is only the beginning. Next, the scorching inferno is about to strike. First, the temperatures soared to over 50 degrees Celsius in a single day, followed by major rivers drying up, leading to water shortages. Under the extreme heat, power lines spontaneously combusted, causing widespread blackouts. The relevant authorities were completely overwhelmed and unable to provide timely rescue, leaving countless people to die of starvation, thirst, or heat stroke in their homes. In my previous life, I only survived 4 days into the apocalypse and had no idea when the government would organize any rescue efforts. But I will always believe in my country. They would never abandon us. Rescue is only a matter of time. By noon, I simply stir-fried 2 small dishes and opened the tablet again to watch the live surveillance footage from over there. Mountain City has always been known as a furnace. And now the temperature has reached 46 degrees. The two of them seemed to have ordered some takeout, but it had been delayed for a long time. Damn, what the hell is this weather? Xiaoyi cursed, then took out his phone to order more takeout. Qin Su, still somewhat sensible, looked at the weather outside and suggested they stock up on supplies first. This weather looks unusual to me. Maybe we should buy some stuff and just stay in, he said. It's so sunny outside. Why don't you go buy it? Qin Su hesitated without speaking. Just ordering a local errand service. Seeing this, I couldn't help but feel somewhat amused. I knew they had already missed the last chance to stock up. The first day of the apocalypse with high temperatures wasn't that terrifying. At least it was still within human tolerance. But starting from the second day, the temperature began to rise. Standing under the sun for just 10 seconds would cause large-scale burns on the skin. That was when the real hull began. While I was eating, these two had already bought some supplies through a delivery service. Chin Su went to the neighborhood supermarket and bought 2 cases of water. Watching these two shamelessly occupying someone else's nest, I sneered coldly. In this lifetime, I look forward to your downfall. My phone rang again. And in the video, Chin Su was also holding her phone, waiting anxiously. I leisurely answered the call. What's wrong? Why are you calling me at this time? Chin Su saw the connected call and the girl's expression relaxed. While the male supporting character beside her jumped up, frantically, winking at Chin Su. Junjun, I'm at your place right now. Where did you say you put the bag you promised me? I've looked everywhere and can't find it. And the weather is so hot now. Where exactly are you? You should be careful out there by yourself. Shirao Rui is really worried about you, too. He keeps asking me when you're coming back. The tone was gentle and full of concern. Perfectly playing the role of a devoted best friend, and I just felt like laughing. Really? So, the two of you were rolling around in my bed all night. I quickly checked yesterday's surveillance footage and it made me sick to my stomach. These two are truly a scumbag and a shameless woman. A match made in heaven. Chin Su froze, then instinctively glanced around the room but couldn't spot any surveillance cameras. I specifically prepared a pinhole camera. How could they possibly find it so easily? Shinjin, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Chin Su's voice clearly carried a hint of panic as she kept signaling to Xiao Rui with her eyes. While Xiao Rui began searching the entire room, no need to look anymore, and no need to call me again. I wish you both a long and happy life together. If you can still survive. I hung up the phone directly, watching Xiao Ayu and Chin Su's furious figures on the screen, feeling nothing but a hearty appetite. Indeed, eating is always better with something entertaining to watch. Hen, you knew all along, didn't you? You deliberately lured us here, didn't you? What the hell do you want, Hen? Get the hell out here. Xiaoyi frantically smashed everything in the room, searching for the hidden camera. Meanwhile, I leisurely watched the entire scene unfold before me. Smash away. Smash away. Even if you smash the entire house, you still can't get out. Outside is a scorching hell. Unless they want to lose a layer of skin. The 24th hour of the heat apocalypse, I can clearly feel the sun outside growing increasingly merciless. There is a small pond in my little garden which was originally just for ornamental purposes. But now the water level has visibly dropped and dried up at a noticeable rate since there are snow-capped mountains nearby. The temperature isn't particularly unbearable, but in recent days there have been constant rumbling sounds. It is said that all the snow on the mountains has melted. This would normally be a good thing, at least helping to lower the temperature. But after the snow on the mountains melted, it quickly evaporated along with the dark clouds in the sky. Several heavy rains fell and the water hitting the ground was completely dried up by the sun in less than 5 minutes. Many people had already wisely started storing water, but I couldn't shake the feeling that things might get even worse. That day when I heard the heavy rain outside hitting the ground with a sizzling corrosive sound, I knew it was bad. At the same time, the National Weather Warning Center issued an alert that the rain falling in our area was highly corrosive. Although it's called rain, it's practically like sulfuric acid. Many who were caught in the rain suffered extensive skin ulcerations. Looking particularly horrifying. While hospitals were already operating beyond capacity, the government urged everyone to stay indoors and avoid unnecessary casualties. Online, all sorts of doomsday theories quickly spread, fueling widespread panic. I gasped as I looked at the plants in the garden, all withered and dead from corrosion. Last time I was in the mountain city, so I had no idea there was acid rain here. At this moment, I couldn't be more grateful that my house was built with the highest grade materials. So, even the corrosion from acid rain couldn't damage my windows or insulation seals. If it gets too terrifying, I'll have no choice but to hide in the basement. My 3-level basement is stocked with ample supplies, provides insulation, and has an excellent drainage, dehumidification, and ventilation system. The supplies inside would allow me to survive alone for 10 years without any issues. I've thought this through very clearly. If the country possesses the capability to solve problems during this period, then selling off these supplies later wouldn't result in a loss. But if the country loses its problem-solving ability, and I hide here for 10 years only to find the issue still unresolved after a decade, then at the very least, I would have survived for 10 years, which is already a gain for me. The weather outside is getting increasingly hotter at first. The sun would still be obscured by clouds. But later, even during rain, the sun remained high in the sky. The sun was shining while it rained, and without exaggeration, the falling raindrops were even hot. Day 5 of the scorching apocalypse. I checked on that despicable couple through the surveillance footage. Although Qin Su had stockpiled some supplies earlier, they were far from enough. Soon, the mountain city experienced large-scale water and power outages. At first, this despicable couple didn't realize the severity of the situation, so they wasted a lot of supplies. By today, they only had 1 box of water left and a few packs of instant noodles. I saw them tightly drawing all the curtains in the room and covering the windows and door gaps with other materials. I let out a cold laugh. This despicable couple is quite clever. I also know that this method can physically block out the external temperature. The mountain city now only supplies water and electricity for 2 hours at fixed times each day. In my previous life, I didn't live this long, so I don't know what will happen next, but I can probably guess that it definitely won't be anything good. Now, these two people no longer have the loving appearance they once did and have started endlessly blaming each other. Xiao Rui complained about why Qin Su was so greedy as to come to this place looking for things if they had stayed at home. They would certainly have had more supplies and wouldn't have had to stay in this place for so long. How dare you scold me, you spineless coward. When I asked you to go out and grab supplies before, what did you say? Either it was too hot outside or you thought stealing was too shameful. If you had just gathered more supplies earlier, would we be in such a desperate situation now? Qin Su, furious and exasperated, yelled at Xiao Rui. Don't you forget all these things were snatched back by me. You have no right to boss me around here. Enraged by her words, Xiaoyi slapped Qin Su across the face. Stunned by the blow, Qin Su fell onto the sofa, her face filled with disbelief. You dare hit me? Qin Su covered her face, her eyes wide with shock. Xiao Rui, you bastard. How dare you hit me? Xia Rui gave Qin Su a cold glance as if looking at something filthy. Don't forget why I'm here in the first place. It's all because of you. Because you had to have that damn bag, otherwise I wouldn't be trapped here either. I was happily sipping my chilled beer and munching on peanuts, thoroughly enjoying the sight of this despicable couple tearing into each other. To be honest, ever since my rebirth, I've been holding on to a deep-seated grudge. I simply couldn't bear the thought of this wretched pair coming to any good end. Now, watching these two scoundrels claw at each other has finally allowed me to vent the pent-up rage in my heart. Damn it, that Hin. If I find out where she is now, I'll kill her. Xiao Rui's cursing voice was like music to my ears. In an excellent mood, I took out my phone and dialed Xiao Rui's number. Xiao Rui's phone rang. And when he saw it was me, he gritted his teeth in frustration. You filthy, how dare you call me? Why don't you just go die? Xiao Rui's furious cursing with that gnashing teeth expression gave me immense satisfaction. Exactly. This is the kind of meltdown I wanted. Seeing you in such agony is what truly brings me pleasure. Finally releasing that pent-up anger in my heart. What's wrong? Aren't you happy to hear from me at a time like this? I said with a smile in my voice. I originally wanted to video call you, but then I thought about it. Your contact info is already blocked by me, so I could only give you a regular call. What are you guys eating now? Surely not just instant noodles. I'm different though. It's so hot here that I can only have an ice-cold beer to quench my thirst and some peanuts as a snack. It's really getting to me. I'm so envious of you all. I said it on purpose, but the tone of Shod and Freya was unmistakable. Both of them gritted their teeth and looked around as if trying to find my camera. I'm very grateful that the camera wasn't powered by electricity before, but rather by solar energy. At least this way I can better observe the ugly behavior of this despicable couple. Don't get too cocky. We have supplies, too. Let's see how long you can last. If you're so capable, let's see who outlives whom. When I heard Xiao Rui say this, I found it somewhat amusing. And then suddenly came up with an idea since these two are so confident. I'm quite curious to see their reaction when hope is given and then crushed. Really? Do you really have that many supplies? I deliberately spoke in an extremely surprised tone. And at this moment, the male supporting character couldn't help but show a smug expression. Of course, we've stockpiled some supplies, too. I just wonder what kind of stuff you have over there. I smiled slightly, then pretended to feel regretful as I spoke. Actually, there's a secret I've been keeping from you. When I told you about winning the lottery before, I didn't win 200 yuan. I won 100 million.